So let's talk a little more detail about doing a four-step strategic analysis. In particular, I want to highlight the first three steps: identifying mission and values, analyze the competitive environment, and analyzing the competitive position of the organization. One way to think about doing this is to ask a series of questions. So imagine the following set of questions. First, simply, what market is the firm in, and who are the players in these markets? This maps onto our tool in our toolkit called the competitor analysis. Now, this seems very straightforward, but it is absolutely a critical part of any strategic analysis. You need to understand what's the industry under study here, and again, who are some of the firms that are currently in the market and who maybe will be future players in this market. Second, what are the major trends impacting this industry? What's happening, for example, to demand moving forward? Are there changes in the social political environment? They're going to have important implications for this industry. This is our environmental analysis tool, in essence. And once again, it helps start to provide a picture of the broader competitive environment. Third, is this an attractive market? Are there barriers to competition? Think five forces analysis here. The five forces analysis is very good for providing an overview of the market structure, the industry structure. In essence, it helps us understand the nature of the competitive game that we are playing as we then devise future strategies. And then fourth, how is the competitive structure of the market likely to evolve? We want to put a dynamic perspective in our understanding of the competitive market. One of our tools to help us do this is our competitive life cycle analysis, trying to predict where we are in the competitive life cycle, when we might see a new disruption, maybe a new emergent strategy coming out of that industry. These four questions together are, in essence, what we would call an opportunities and threats from a SWOT analysis. Once again, a SWOT analysis is a classic in the strategy field. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Now, in many ways, I think one of the critiques of SWOT analysis is it's overly simplistic here, and lots of questions of whether something's an opportunity or a threat and how to classify them. I think at the end of the day, that's less important than just understanding how do we characterize the competitive environment. These four questions and their subsequent tools help us answer those questions. Once you've answered that part of the questions, you want to move on to the next set of questions. What is the firm's mission and values? What do others expect of the firm? Now we're beginning to take a deeper dive in the organization that we're analyzing. A stakeholder analysis can be very valuable to trying to understand those mission and values and then the others' expectations of a firm. What are the firm's unique resources and capabilities? How sustainable is any advantage that these assets provide? This is the heart and soul of our capabilities analysis, one of these critical analyses that help us understand where our sources of competitive advantage might arise within an organization. We might complement that with a portfolio planning matrix, which helps us now understand how they might leverage these assets across markets so as to improve their position in any given market here. This is our story of corporate strategy, competing in multiple markets with the hope of improving performance in one or all of those markets you compete in. Last but not least, you want to ask the question, given all of this, how should we position ourselves in the market relative to our rivals? And we've talked about strategy maps or strategic maps as a useful way of giving a visual presentation of where you stand versus your competitors. Referring back to SWOT analysis, these four questions really ask the strengths and weaknesses part of a SWOT analysis, complementing the earlier questions, which were more external facing. So if we think back to the strategist challenge here, values, opportunities, capabilities, we can actually map each of the tools in the toolkit to these three different bubbles here. So stakeholder analysis, very useful for understanding the values of the organization. When it comes to opportunities, we have competitor analysis, environmental analysis, five forces, and our competitive life cycle. When it comes to the internal aspects of capabilities, we have capability analysis, the use of strategy maps and portfolio planning matrices as ways to try to understand what the firm does well and to see what opportunities they might ultimately want to attack and go after in terms of these valuable competitive positions.